Hi all, welcome back to another video of the A Ghlillie shelter series. This is the third video in the series. In the first video we saw how we did the base layer where we attached the netting to put our camo to. The second video we used the spray paint to put our base camo layer on, and this in the third video we are going to go with the artificial vegetation, and this will be all about depth. Okay, so this video will start off a little bit differently than the other videos, because we will start off a bit further than where we left off. This is due to a problem with my phone. I lost some footage, so it's already there, but I still am going to show you how I did it and why I did certain things. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, and you will quickly realize that we are a bit further, as I stated, than where we left off. And I attached the camo mesh and the raffia already. So as you can see, we have a bit of inconsistency in the placing of our raffia. We have big amounts here, small bit of amount here, and a bigger amount over there. And some things from a distance looks like grass, other things look like twigs, and that is the way we attach the raffia. And I will show you this how I did it. Now the strength of the hunter's mesh comes really into play, because now we can go from patch to patch with a string of hunter's mesh. So that is exactly what I did. So the smaller patches, we actually made them bigger by tying them to the other patches. Over here we used to have a big hole of nothingness, and just by simply attaching mesh from point A to point B, we cleared up problems like that. Also, what we did is we broke up the outline from the bag, because of, as you can see, the raffia bleeds out of the outline of the bag, and this will break up the pattern. Also, the hunter's mesh does the same. As you can see, there are a few examples. This is an example that I tied it off to the side just for that purpose. And there are things you want to achieve with the cloth and with the raffia. So make the outline bleed out into the surrounding forest floor. Okay, so when it comes down to raffia, you can do a couple of things with one strand of raffia, and the length that would be desirable is something from your finger all the way up to the length of your arm. And just to show off what we can do, I will keep this very simple. I'm just going to tie a knot. So this is the way we do it. Now it's done. And you can do this, make the strands an even length. So let me do that just to show off the different things we can do to it. Now you can leave it obviously like this, or you can split it up into different strands. And as you can see, this already starts to transform into something else than just one single strand of raffia. As you can see, this gives off a very different look already. Now there are some other things we can do. We can change the color a bit. We can actually burn off the end. Make sure you don't damage your bag. And as you can see, the end is now burnt, and this will look like dry grass. It looks a bit more realistically. Now you can leave it like this when you split things off. Sometimes a strand comes off, and that's only good to keep. You can leave it straight like this, or what you can do is you can take it in your hand, crumple it up, and go like this, and this will get rid of the straight lines or the wavy lines and makes it look a bit more broken. And those are techniques that I used, for instance, here. As you can see, with more pieces, it gives a better effect, but this looks like dry grass, much more easy than those straight twig thingies. So other things you can do is you can spray paint them as well. So yeah, the desired colors for this would be, of course, green and brown. over. And this is something you don't want to overdo. Just a little bit of dust will do the trick. And on this dead grass with a bit of dull green and only a little bit, will make it come alive a bit more. So those are things you can do. You can do this with brown as well. You can darken some spots up. You can make it a bit lighter with green and play with it around. Those are the things you can do with raffia. When it comes down to attaching the hunter's mesh, you can do this in several ways. As I did it here, I used the zip tie. Over here, I just tied it onto itself. Here I use the zip tie. Here I put another knot. This is just tied on itself. But you can also tie it to the net with raffia. So those are the ways to attach these ones. You can cut off a single long strip, go from A to B, then make some cuts all the way. Tumble it over onto itself. Make a few cuts on the side as well. And this will allow, what this will allow you to do is you can pull these. Oh, no, that wasn't meant to happen. But you can pull these, and then this will make sure that the cut that you just made won't fit anymore. So now you have a more distorted piece of mesh that is no longer a straight line. So if you have difficulties with creating random forms and making jagged edges, this is something you can do very easily. Just snip it and pull it a bit, and this will distort the figure and the original shape of the rectangular that you cut out. So another trick that you can use for your hunter's mesh is this is actually a very good screen for mosquitoes as well. So if you use a big part over here at the top of your hood, you can actually sleep with the hood open. And if you have problems with mosquitoes and things, you can actually lay this over your head when you're in the bag, and this will allow you to sleep without actually getting stung or with a mosquito in your ear. And you can play around with this at night just without this would be a very different experience when it comes down to mosquitoes anyway. So this is a tip that I can give you. Just tuck it in there, you'll be fine. So excuse me for interrupting this video so abruptly, but I didn't plan this when I was shooting the video, but when I was editing I realized that there is way too much information just for one video, and I realized that I have to split up the artificial vegetation into two parts, because the second part will be all about leaves and fake plants, and there is really too much explanation on how to do this properly without making the whole bag look like a big compost heap, because there is going to be a major difference between the way that we used to apply things like randomly and the way we are going to approach right now, quite neatly organized, but more of that in the next video. So I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.